All right, guys, welcome to the IBS Leaky Gut Mini Masterclass. Super excited to have you. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Listen, I'm gonna go quick, right? You're busy, I'm busy, we're all busy. So I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna talk fast. If you need to rewind it, feel free to do so. But quick background, my name is Dr. Brandon Manning. I'm a functional medicine doctor. And believe it or not, for over 17 years, I've been helping patients from a functional standpoint, right? Really digging, not guesswork, not cookie cutter, one size fits all, everybody gets the same thing, but objectively, functionally digging, right? That's the beautiful thing about functional medicine is that we don't guess, we test. Guys, leaky gut is it's a big problem for a lot of people, and it's a condition that very few doctors are talking about. Let me show you an example. If I go to Google and I type in IBS, for example, so IBS, constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating, right? You eat something, you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck did I just eat, right? There's 6.5 million searches a month on Google for IBS. Okay, 6.5 million people. That tells me people's guts are a mess. It's a big problem, and most disease and dysfunction starts in your gut, and we're going to get into that. But look at how it's trending, right? Look at trends, Google Trends. It's like every single year that passes, it gets worse and worse. And I can take this graph, right, this chart, and I can do the same thing for autoimmune. I can do the same thing for anxiety and depression. It goes the same way. So what I want you to understand is that there is what's called a gut-brain axis. So if the gut's not working right, guess what else isn't going to work right? Brain fog, fatigue, mentally you're like cloudy. You're not as mentally sharp as you once were. Maybe you have an ADHD child, right? There's a gut-brain connection. So we'll get into that. But what I want you also to understand is that leaky gut can manifest elsewhere, right? It might show up as, the obvious, right? Gut dysfunction, but it might also show up as headaches. It might show up as skin problems, back pain, joint pain, brain fog, right? Anxiety and depression, autoimmune. Hopefully not autoimmune. But let me show you something. This book showed up in my clinic probably 12, 13 years ago. I didn't order it. I didn't buy it. It just shows up magically, right? This thing is, it says your hidden food allergies are making you fat. And now I know this is not a training on food allergies or food sensitivities, but this is a deep dive into inflammation. It's a deep dive into food allergies, food intolerances, food sensitivities. This thing is over 300 pages. And at the time we were doing a lot of weight loss in our clinics, and like this thing it was intense. And so I gobbled this thing up in probably 4 days. And I said, you know what, we have to start testing our patients. And so we did that, and all of our gut patients, so like people that have digestive issues, right? What I just talked about, constipated, diarrhea, gas, bloating, tummy aches, this kind of stuff. We started food testing. We started bringing this food testing in our clinic. We started bringing nutrient testing, and the results were remarkable. Like the conditions that we see, just phenomenal. So here's what you need to understand about leaky gut. Now, I know this is hard. This is going to be hard to see, but down here in your small intestine, right, you want tight junctions. Down here, you see these finger-like projections. They're called villi. And I'm going to go on a tangent. I'm going to talk about gluten in just a second. But in your digestive tract, you want tight junctions, right? They should be tight. But you can kind of see here, they get opened up a little bit. They get loose. Okay, that is what leaky gut is. So in other words, these tight junctions open up because of food sensitivities, because of inflammation, because of toxins, bad fats, sugar, certain prescription medications, stress, a lot of factors, right? A lot of lifestyle factors that open these junctions up. Then what happens? You get bacteria, foreign particles, proteins, bugs, viruses, junk, right, into your bloodstream, down here, in your bloodstream that don't belong there. Then bad things happen. Then you get this massive inflammatory response. You get this massive immune reaction, right? So when I'm looking at a food test, if I see 50 different foods, 60 different foods where there's a lot of sensitivities, a lot of intolerances, ding, 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 hey, this is a pretty dang good indication that we have leaky gut going on. And if that doesn't get fixed, if these loose junctions don't get tightened up, that, in my opinion, that is why we have such an autoimmune epidemic, right? We have 50 million Americans, you guys, write this one down, right? 50 million Americans with some form or label of an autoimmune condition, okay? This is an epidemic that nobody is talking about, right? Yes, there are other epidemics and pandemics, right? This is an epidemic that very few doctors are talking about. Guys, that's 1 in every 6 people, autoimmune. Lupus, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, celiac disease, Crohn's disease, most thyroids, Hashimoto's, that's autoimmune. Again, roughly 140 labels or manifestations of it, right? So we have to, now more than ever, we have to tighten up those junctions. We have to have a rock solid immune system. So when we food test, you guys, ultimately we're testing to determine exactly how your immune system is reacting and responding to foods. But also, let me fast forward a notch here. 3 main reasons why we test. Number 1 is what foods are harming your immune system. Up here, what foods are harming your digestive system, right? We have to take the foods out of your system that your gut doesn't like. Because we know that research is clear that food sensitivities, food intolerances wreck your gut. Right? And then also it drives inflammation. So it spikes inflammation in your body. That makes sense? So 3 main reasons why we food test. Gut health, reduces inflammation, takes the stress and the burden off of your immune system. Guys, we also look at nutrients. And this is why I want to talk about gluten for a second. Gluten, remember wheat, barley, rye, oats, right? Gluten, it's glue, right? Just think of gluten as glue. It's a sticky protein. It's tough to break down, tough to digest. But it's like sandpaper coming through your small intestine. So remember these little villi? They're finger-like projections in your gut. That's where you absorb most of your nutrients. Okay, that's where you absorb, not all, but most of your nutrients are absorbed in your small intestine. Gluten, if you're one of the 40% of the country who is gluten intolerant, which means you have pizza, you crash. You have spaghetti, you crash. You have lasagna, you crash. You have Subway, right? People think Subway's healthy. No, spikes your blood sugar, which we'll talk about. But that wrecks your small intestine. If you continue to eat gluten and you're sensitive to it, it's like sandpaper coming through your small intestine, carving off the villi. That leads to nutrient deficiencies, you guys. Could be vitamin D, it could be magnesium, it could be zinc, it could be B12. By the way, if you have cravings, right? If you crave chocolate, sweets, sugar, salt, whatever, there's certain deficiencies that lead to craving. So if you're craving certain things, it means you have a deficiency somewhere. We don't know unless we test. And I can't tell you how many patients come to me and they dump their duffel bag full of pills on my desk because they're taking certain things. I'm like, why are you taking that? They say, well, I saw on Facebook it was good for XYZ. And I'm like, well, my question is, are you deficient in that? Right? Are you depleted in that? Right? Yeah, no, there's certain things that are good just for preventative purposes. Probiotic is good, omegas are good, D is good. So there's a good baseline that's really good across all populations. But I want to dig, as a functional medicine practitioner and doctor, I want to dig, find and work towards fixing those deficiencies. So the cool thing about the labs we use is that, okay, we're deficient in zinc, go eat more of this, seafood, whatever. You're deficient in magnesium, okay, go eat more kale, spinach, broccoli, right? So it gives you food choices. So yeah, you could supplement, which is good, but you can also eat more of the foods that are abundant in that specific nutrient, okay? So again, gluten, it's a big problem for a lot of people, but it wrecks your gut, and it's the deficiencies that can lead to, I was doing some research a while back, but over 200 different conditions. Over 200 different conditions that have been linked back to deficiencies linking to gluten. So gluten wrecks your gut and indirectly basically causes, directly, however you want to word it, but it leads to shortages. And then it's up to us to find out where those are. Let's bring your levels into a more optimal direction so we don't go down this path of disease and dysfunction, okay? So, guys, standard American diet is very processed, okay? It's very pro-inflammatory, and it's very toxic. Too much sugar, too many things that turn to sugar. And, when I say toxins, I mean, I'm not talking the junk underneath your sink, right? Yeah, that stuff's bad. You don't want to consume that. But I'm talking high fructose corn syrup, preservatives, nitrates, MSG, trans fats, colors, dyes, aspartame. Here's the thing, you guys. If a food has 27 ingredients, right? And I want you to write this one down too. If a food has 27 ingredients, it's not a food, all right? It was built. It was manufactured in a laboratory by a food chemist. It was one job, right? That's to make that food taste good so that you come back again and again and again, right? We have a food industry, right, that pays no attention to health, okay? We have a healthcare system, a very broken one, that pays no attention to food, right? So we have two massive conglomerates that are feeding each other, and here we are all sick, sicker than sick, right? We have a standard, we have a a population that is sick and getting sicker. When you look at cancer and heart disease and diabetes and stroke and Alzheimer's, like our lifespans are getting shorter. Right? My mom passed away at the age of 61 of heart disease. My dad passed away of two types of cancer. Neither of them reached 65. And my wife's parents, my wife's mom has my wife's dad has Alzheimer's. He doesn't know up from down. My wife's mom has MS, right? Autoimmune. She's in hospice, bedridden for the past year, but was in a wheelchair for over 30 years. But now has bed sores, and autoimmune is something that you do not want to go down, right? Autoimmune is something that, again, a lot of people are being affected by it, but it can absolutely destroy your health, and it can destroy your lifestyle. Like, life becomes miserable when you feel like garbage, and it might show up as Hashimoto's. That's the autoimmune. That's the thyroid, right? Where it's okay, your hair's falling out, you got brittle nails, you're cold all the time, you're fatigued, you're constipated, you can't lose weight, right? There's brain fog, there's anxiety, there's depression, right? Those are the classic thyroid symptoms, but it could be lupus, it could be MS, it could be one of these other just debilitating conditions, and we don't want to go that path. So my goal with my patients is to stabilize blood sugar, you guys. Standard American diet, like we talked about. Remember the pizza, spaghetti, lasagna, burgers, Subway, right? All those heavy carbs, it spikes your blood sugar, right? This is another one I want you to write down, because nothing will destroy your health faster than chronically spiking your blood sugar. And then in turn your insulin, right? It's the insulin that's the driver of a lot of health challenges, cancer, this type of stuff. So we get a blood sugar spike, insulin surge, and that overshoots it. So then you crash. Down here is where you crash, okay? Down here, I'm reaching for more pop, sugar, caffeine, coffee, carbs, something to get me out of that crash. By the way, down here you have cravings. You're craving more something. But it's this that will destroy your health, right? It's the spikes and the dips and the crashes, spikes, dips, crashes. We want to stabilize, right? That's why I'm a big fan of the ketogenic diet, because we stabilize. But keto needs to be customized, because not everybody should be consuming a ton of dairy and a ton of avocado if you're sensitive to it. That's why we test sensitivities, deficiencies, toxicities. What we do is we dig, right? Everybody's unique, everybody's different. We dig, find, and work towards fixing the underlying root cause, not just another chemical cover-up, right? That's the medical model where you go in with XYZ symptom. Doc, I got tummy aches. I got skin problems. I got this going on. Okay, let's put you on this, right? It's XYZ medication for XYZ symptom. They ignore root cause. Why? They're not trained in it, right? They go to medical school and it's a lot of pharmaceuticals, right? It's a lot of medication talk, covering up symptoms, masking symptoms. Very few will really actually dig and work towards a natural solution that is safe, effective, predictable, right? So this is what we do, and it works very, very well. So listen, I'm not gonna keep eating up your time. I know your time is valuable, but if you're struggling with any type of gut dysfunction, so again, constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating, again, you're confused, there's food confusion going on. Maybe you're on this merry-go-round of confusion of like one specialist after another, maybe it's one scope, negative, still feel like crap. You see what I'm saying? You still feel like garbage after all these doctors say, oh, you're normal, you're fine, still feel like garbage. What I'd love to do is offer you a 100% free discovery call. Right? No cost, no obligation. Simply a chance for me to ask you questions, right? You can ask me questions, and then together we can determine if our protocols would make sense, right? Foods, nutrients, stabilizing blood sugar, minimize toxins, avoid the hidden sugars that are driving inflammation. The goal is reduce inflammation. You get the idea. Maybe a protocol, right? Probiotics and zinc, and good gut enzymes, good gut protocol, glutamine. Again, I could keep going on and on, but so yeah, I'm gonna put the button beneath this video. Click it, it's gonna take it right into my schedule. If you do have questions, you can hit the button above this video, and it's gonna open up Messenger, and you can message me directly. So if you have a quick question, I'm not on the computer all the time, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can. 3 rules though before you schedule. Number 1 is answer the phone, right? So if you're gonna carve out 20 to 30 minutes out of my schedule, carve that same time out of your schedule as well, all right? So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is be ready to take action, right? Be ready to make change. So if we food test and we say, hey, we have to go gluten-free, or we have to go dairy-free, or minimize eggs, or whatever it might be ready to make those changes, because we're after the transformation, Okay, we're after the end goal, right? So like we're giving you information, and you can go to Dr. Google, right? You can go to Dr. YouTube. That's all information. That's good. Information, however, is worthless without action pushing it. So like information is worthless without action. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, and we're after the transformation. You have XYZ symptom, I want to get rid of it like yesterday. That's my goal, is to just put it in the past. Like for my weight loss patients, hey, they want to lose 30 pounds, let's get that off fast and then keep it off. So it's the transformation that's my goal, right? It's the transformation, not just giving you more information. It's partnering with people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired of being failed by the medical system of medication after medication, chemical cover-up after chemical cover-up. You know, when's the last time you were driving in your car, check engine lights on, I think I'll just put a piece of tape over it. Do we do that like with our cars? Why would you do it with your health? Got to make smarter choices, you guys. So again, that's rule number 2, is be ready to take action. I can't do your shopping for you, right? I can give you the framework, like we're going to remove this, we're going to eat more of this, we're going to take this, like we're going to partner together and we're going to help get you from here to here, but I can't do the shopping for you. I can't cook for you, right? But we're going to point you in the right direction, okay? Rule number 3 is you have to be in a position to invest. Like, and I'm going to say this, gently and politely and hopefully respectfully, but if you have $37 in your bank account, I can't help, because we have third-party labs that do the analysis. So like, because we dig and there's objectivity involved and there's labs involved, like there's no wiggle room, right? There's no negotiating. And so, you're gonna have to be in a position to invest. But I tell patients, and I've been saying this for a decade and a half, that you must take time and invest in your health today, or you're gonna be forced to take time for sickness and disease later on. Like, you can't have it both ways. And every choice that you make throughout your day, every choice you make, you're pushing your health towards optimal health and vitality or disease and dysfunction. So if I'm drinking a ton of water and I'm getting to the gym and I'm taking my vitamins and I'm moving around, okay, health and vitality. I come home at night, I lay on the couch all night, I drink a bunch of Mountain Dew, I pile in a bunch of ice cream, I'm sedentary, right? Disease and dysfunction. There's no middle ground. There's no standing still. Every choice you make, it's one way or another, right? And so that's what we encourage our patients to do. We'll get you a book, like we have a book. This is the roadmap, you guys. This is the plan of attack, and we've been using this for a long time. And there are strategies and tactics in this playbook that transform lives, and we've transformed thousands of lives. Not only gut dysfunction, IBS, leaky gut stuff, but also autoimmune, also weight loss resistance, also ADHD kids, so many different things, fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, and depression. So a lot of this stuff, it all has kind of an underlying root cause, being gut dysfunction. Remember, I said at the beginning, a lot of disease and dysfunction starts in your gut. So that's our starting point. And sometimes not the ending point, but this is where we need to start. Foods, nutrients, minimizing toxins, stabilizing blood sugar, getting you off the roller coaster of inflammatory. Just, piece of bread, by the way, has the same glycemic effect as a can of Coke, right? So if you're eating bread, right, that's spiking the blood sugar, insulin surge, crash, right? You've heard me say that before. So, all right, guys, I'll let you go. So again, click below and it's going to roll you right into my calendar. And either myself or one of my partner doctors, okay, one of my partner practitioners will be giving you a call at the time that you choose, right? So click below, pick a time, and then again, either myself or one of my doctors will be giving you a call, and then we'll chat. Again, we'll ask you questions, you'll ask us questions, and then together we'll determine if this protocol would make sense based on what you've been through, based on what you've done, and based on where you're at and how motivated you are to fix this thing. It can't be all things to all people, so you have to be ready to take action to get healthy. Okay, so, all right, guys, I'll let you go. If you have any questions, click above. And if you're ready to go, click below, right? And we'll talk to you real soon. Take care.